The king of the graveyard. The king, the master, the boss of the graveyard is about to leave the graveyard. He's about to walk off and leave it. Verse number 9. We finished, and the demons spoke out with one spokesman. There were probably 2,000 to 5,000 demons in this man. Demons, remember, seek to dwell in human or animal flesh. Angels have form, they're clothed. Demons are not. Demons are territorial. They don't like to leave their inhabitants, their habitation. They don't want to leave it. Demons in countries. I'll tell you how strong demon forces are. After millennium of 1,000 years with no demons on the earth, the areas over there where the Muslim world is today, Gog and Magog and those countries there, that's where the battle of Gog and Magog, that will finally make one stand against it, and the demons in that area will become active in the people, and the people have known God, the inhabitants have known God and nothing else for 1,000 years, and they're going to rise up and fight against God because of demonics. These demons are territorial, and they will be turned loose for a short time. And then they're going to put away in the eternal hellfire, the lake of fire forever. Now let's go back to the Gadarene demoniacs. There actually were 2 of them. It talks about 1 here, but there are actually 2. Now let's go here in verse number 10. Kai, para, kale, auton, palawe, pola, hina, me, alta, apostole, exo, tes, koros. And he kept on beseeching him much. This is the spokesman for these thousands of demons in this man, this victim of demonic activity. And he kept on beseeching him, third person singular imperfect indicative active, and then him is accusative singular masculine third person pronoun there, auton. Much, many times. It was in perfect tense, and now it says many times. In order that, this hina, may, a little particle of negation there, them, he might send outside of the country. They were willing to go any place except hell. They were willing to go any place except hell. That he might send them. And the word apostole there, that's where we get our word apostle. That means send with authority. And Jesus had all authority in heaven and earth. He does today. To send them outside, exo, that comes from ek. Ek is at page 121. Outside of the country, and that's oblative singular feminine, oblative singular feminine, definite article, and the noun. Demons are territorial, but they were willing to leave outside of the country here. Verse number 11 now. Ein de eke pros to odre agale koiron megale baska mene. And moreover, a weak adversative conjunctive particle there, page 85, in the analytical lexicon. And moreover, it kept on being there, eke, that's the adverb of place. Toward pros there, page 346, another adverb, or another preposition that is. Toward the mountain, there is a agale, that's a herd, nominative singular masculine, a herd of koiron. Koiron are swine, hogs, genitive plural feminine. The herd word is feminine, for the word herd. Great, a great herd of swine. Bosque mane. That means feeding, pasturing themselves. Nominative singular, feminine, present participle, middle voice. They were feeding for themselves. All you have to do is just turn a hog out and he's going to find something to eat. They're hogs, you know. They're going to find something to eat. Verse number 12. Kai, para kaleson, auton, legontes, pepson, himas, ace, tus, cordirus, hina, ace, autos, exelthomen. Now we have the demons talking again. That word kai there, it can be there, it can be and, or it can be also, page 208 in the Analytical Greek Lexicon. And they beseeched him, the demons did, third person plural, first aorist, indicative, active. They beseeched him, para and kallio there. That's the two words that means there, para and kallio. They beseeched him, accusative singular masculine, third person pronoun there, saying, now this is a participle that comes from lego, saying, nominative plural masculine, present participle active from lego, saying, you sinned. Now here we have the word pempso. Pempon, pepto. You sinned, second person singular, first aorist, imperative active, you sinned to us. Into the swine. Into the swine. That word ace there. Into the swine herd. In order that unto them we might enter. Demons seek to dwell in human or animal flesh. Have you ever seen an animal that you thought was demon possessed? It was so mean and vicious. So mean and vicious. They were free to stay in the swine until the swine died. These demons must inhabit some kind of flesh to exist in an area. There are stipulations in many contracts when a person buys a piece of land or homes or whatever on that land that that there is no demon activity around them. Nobody died there. All this kind of things. People are very superstitious about this, but in some realities maybe they are there. They wanted to go into the swine. 5 and verse 13. Kai epi trepsen, autois kai exelthonta, ta pneumata, ta akarta, exelthon, eis tain, thalasein, hos dyskilioi, kai epnigonta, ento thalase. Aestus, Korus, Kai, Orusen, He, Agale, Karatu, Kremnu. In this area here, left out part of this verse. And he allowed them, third person singular, first aorist, indicative active, he allowed them, dative plural masculine, third person pronoun, and having departed, having gone out, nominative plural masculine, second aorist, participle active, the spirits, the demon spirits, the demons, the unclean, and they, third person singular, second aorist, indicative active, they went in the sea about 2,000. About 2,000. Dis, that means divide, and it means two, and kilia, 2,000, and they were continually choked. They kept on being choked in the sea. Now, in the middle of that, and I left out part of this verse, and the swine, and they rushed. Now this is right there after Exelthon. And they rushed the herd down of a steep bank, into the sea, about 2,000 pigs. And they were continually choked, or kept on being choked in the sea. In other words, they drowned in the sea. 2,000 swine drowned in that sea. 2,000 swine chose to die rather than to be inhabited by demons. That sometimes pigs are smarter than people. I had a pig one time. Her name was Wilbur. My daughter named her, even though she was a she called her Wilbur, because of that little story about Wilbur. And Wilbur was really smart. Is that right, Marilyn?
Yeah.
Oh, she was smart. I could give her commands and she'd do anything. She'd perform. She would actually perform for people. I could go out there and get her to do different things. And when the pecans were ripe, falling on the ground, I'd go out there and I said, Wilbur, go out there and go get you some pecans. And she'd go out there and she'd scoop up a whole mouthful of pecan and shell them in her mouth and spit the shells out. Just like people do sunflower seeds. I didn't have to teach her to do that. She did it. She could open the gate, she could turn on the faucet. You couldn't keep her. She wanted to go and sit on the porch of the house. Actually, she wanted in the house. I had to finally lock her up and put the locks on the outside of the fence because she'd get out. You couldn't keep her anyplace, and she loved to go by and turn faucets on. She just loved to do that. She could take off a float off a faucet. I went out there one time and the float was bad and the water trough was running over in her pen, and there was a screen that went over top of it, an iron screen enclosure, and it was back there in the back where the deal was, so the horses or whatever was in there couldn't play with it. And she watched me. She got down there. I was down on my hands and knees. She took my shoe off and went and played with it. She'd playing keep away with me with my shoe. And I got that on there, and she was watching me while I did it, but she was playing with my shoe. I got my shoe back from her, and then I went outside, and no longer did I get out of that pen, and she went over there, stuck her head underwater, and reached underneath there and unscrewed that float and brought it to me. Now, you don't know how many times I've had to try to teach mechanics what left-handed and right is. That came off of their left-handed. I had so many mechanics tighten things up until it broke, instead of loosening them. That pig was smarter than a lot of mechanics that I had. She was something else. I often said, the reason why God doesn't want us to eat pig meat or pork is because they're smarter than we are. He doesn't want us eating anything smarter than we are. Well, these pigs were smarter than the people around. They did not want to live demon-possessed. Now, verse number 14, we have rebels. Rebels. We got the king of the graveyard, now we got rebels. Rebels that hate God. Kai hoi, bas contes, autus, e phagon, kai, apegalon, ace, tain, polin, kai, ace, tus, agrus, kai, elthon, edain, t, esten, to, giganos. And the ones feeding, Bosco. That's what Bosco is, where it comes from, Bosco. That little word, Bosco. That means to feed. And the ones feeding them, nominative plural masculine, present participle active, them, accusative plural masculine, third person pronoun, them, they fled. All right? They took flight. They were scared. They saw the pigs, the demons going to the pigs, and then the pigs went in the Sea of Galilee and drowned themselves. They fled, third person plural, second aorist, or aorist 2, second aorist, indicative active. And then word chi again, conjunction also. It can be and or also, either one. And they reported, third person plural, first aorist, indicative active. They announced, actually, this is the word angel and apo, from this word angel and apo. Angel meaning messenger. And they reported from them unto the city. Ace, page 119, preposition unto and in and around and through and upon and below of that city. The city, the poline, our word policeman is a person that polices a city. The city, and again, extension or limitation of thought or verbal action, page 119, that preposition, the fields. They went throughout all the city. Remember what ace means, extension or limitation of thought or verbal action. That idea is they went on every side of that city, out into the fields, out into the country, and told what happened here. Now, Marilyn or Sharon, either one of you girls, now if you saw some miraculous thing happen, would you believe? Want to believe? Would you want to believe that Jesus is supernatural, that he is the Son of God, that he is the master of the universe, if you saw him do this?
Oh,
yeah, you would want to do that. But these people didn't. They were rebels. The rebels reported unto the city and all the fields, and they came. Erchomai is what this word comes from, third person plural, second aorist, indicative active. They came to see what it is, this thing having happened. This thing having become, actually it comes from Genomai. Nominative, singular, neuter, second perfect, participle, and active. Curiosity to see the miracle worker. But they didn't want him in their country. Rejection. The miracles that Jesus did proved he was Messiah. But if you don't want to believe that he's a Messiah, I don't care what happens. I mean, people can be given evidence. And they clearly don't want to believe it. Because they don't want to believe it. These people here, they came and they saw the man sitting down in his right mind. He was not dangerous anymore. They saw that the pigs were floating out there in the Sea of Galilee, by the way. Pigs have a lot of fat on them. And fat floats in water. It does. It floats in water. And they were out there floating out there, and they see 2,000 pigs out there floating in the sea. Well, how come they're all dead? Well, he put demons from this man into them, and they decided they didn't want to live, and they went out there and drowned themselves in the Sea of Galilee. Now let's talk about the Sea of Galilee for just a moment. Let's see what you think happened here. First of all, I told you earlier that the Sea of Galilee, in tradition, they believed that a great Leviathan in the bottom of that ocean, in the bottom of that sea, that big lake, was the gates of Hades, or Sheol, or hell. And they said there was a great Leviathan living in there. Now, these demons begged Jesus not to send them to hell, didn't they? Did they beg him not to send them to hell? Yes. So now what happens? So their demons go into the swine, and the swine go out into the Sea of Galilee, and they drown and die. And where are the demons? According to them, in the very mouth of Hades. In the very mouth of Hades, they have been sent to hell. They have been judged and sent to hell. According to their tradition. That's what they believe. The great Leviathan is stilled. The hogs are floating out there. The demons have to go someplace because they have to dwell in human or animal flesh. And they're not there anymore. The animal flesh is dead now. Demons don't dwell in dead people. They dwell in live people, live animals, live things. Let me talk about something for just a moment. In Catholicism, they have many idols. They have these figurines, these idols. And they have the stations of the cross all around the church. There's the stations of the cross, and in every one of those there's an idol. Now, people bow down and worship those, and they pray in those stations of the cross. What draws them to do that? It's the demonic activity that is in that building. The demons are territorial. What makes Buddhists want to go into a Buddhist temple and worship Buddha and pray to Buddha? Demon activity. Demon activity. What causes people in the Mormon church to stay in the Mormon church? Demon activity. Demon activity. What causes people to stay in the assembly hall of Jehovah's Witnesses? Demon activity. These false religions have demon power. First of all, when whether it was Charles Taze Russell or whoever, Joseph Smith or Brigham Young or whoever did, they were demonically empowered to convince and to powerfully influence people to follow them, even with their lives and their deaths at times. Jim Jones down there, that took over 900 people there and calls them to drink the suicide punch laced with poison, and all of their bodies were laying there dead. The powerful influence that man had, it's demonic influence, You have to realize that in the state of California that he was up there in the legislature at one time convincing legislatures about his activities that were really wonderful, what he was doing for mankind. When the legislators went down there to check on him in Guyana, they were killed. And they began to commit suicide. The whole bunch. What did that? Demon activity. Demon activity is alive and well in the world today. In countries. Every country has demons. Every country has demons leading the leaders.